What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back. Welcome back. I got a special episode for y'all today. This one here, I was asked to do this. Actually, asked the question in my chat, who do I think is better? And give my honest opinion. And I'll tell you what, one thing about me that y'all should know by now is I'm pretty transparent when it comes to opinions on basketball and players. And I hold no punches and I'm critical as can be of everybody. It's like a gift. I have the ability to praise and I have the ability to critique. And I keep it real. I critique hard because I coached the game. I didn't play the game at the highest of levels, but I played basketball. But I coached high level basketball players, and there's certain expectations that you have for people and players who are supposed to be among the best in the world. And I didn't have the best in the world, but I had some high level guys that realistically would be better than pretty much everybody in the WNBA. So let's talk about this right here. This is the debate. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. The true, raw, uncut, and unfiltered opinion of yours truly, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont. Hit that intro. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Indiana Fever Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I am your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave your comments, hype this video because I want to make this one go worldwide because people need to hear the real, the unfiltered, the uncut transparency. That's what it's all about. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think Caitlin Clark is better than Paige Bueckers and everything because she's not. And I'm not going to tell you that Paige Bueckers is better than Caitlin Clark and everything because she's not. Because realistically speaking, both of them are excellent basketball players. So let's get that off. Let's get ahead of it right there. As we say, both of them are excellent basketball players. I have no ill will towards Paige Bueckers. I hold no disillusions to how good Paige Bueckers is as a basketball player, her levels of efficiency, the skills in which she possesses, the whole nine. I remember when she came out of high school, she was all world. Wasn't that long ago. Realistically, it was one that long ago. It happened when I was in my 40s. So I remember when she came out of high school. She was supposed to be the second coming of Christ. I remember it very, very well. In fact, no, I had never heard of Caitlin Clark back when Paige Bueckers came out of high school. That's just keeping it a buck. I don't need to pull punches, but I knew who Paige Bueckers was. But by the time we got to the end of 4 years at Iowa and Connecticut, everybody knew who Caitlin Clark was around the world, not just in Iowa, not just in women's college basketball, not just in the United States of America, but around the world. Caitlin Clark's fan base is worldwide. And we're not talking about this to sit here and make the comparisons of who has a bigger fan base. No, 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 no. That's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we're going to go through this thing right here, right? And we're going to go over what they do well, what they don't do that well, and give you a genuine opinion as to who the better player is. Period. So come with me on this journey, because it's going to take a little bit to go through it. But let's start off with the first thing. So let's start off with the most obvious, their college careers. Let's start there. Both of them were five-star athletes coming out of high school. Paige Bueckers was ranked number 1 in the country. Caitlin Clark was ranked number 4. Everybody knew who Paige Bueckers was. She went to UConn, played with tons of McDonald's All-Americans. Caitlin Clark went to Iowa. She was the McDonald's All-American. Caitlin Clark was never recruited by UConn. Gino Auriemma didn't want her. So she went to Iowa. She stayed at home in her home state. And what Caitlin Clark proceeded to do was set every record imaginable in the game. Period. Period. Point blank. She set every record in the game. You cannot, there's nothing that you can say that can change what Caitlin Clark accomplished in college. She set every record. Every scoring record. She was setting assist records. She was doing things that no one's ever seen before. And she was doing it at a pretty efficient level. Now, did she do it at an efficient level of, let's say, Paige Bueckers in college? No, she did not. Paige Bueckers shot a ridiculous percentage from the field in college. She shot 53.1% in college, while Caitlin Clark shot 46.2%. But there are differences to these games because one player had to basically carry her team while the other was part of a great team with players all around her, right? And Paige Bueckers, year one, gets pretty deep into the tournament. I believe they went to the national championship her freshman year where they lost. Let's confirm that. I'm pretty sure they went to the national championship where they lost. They lost in the semifinals. Sorry, they lost in the semis. So she goes to the national semifinals. Her second year, she goes to the national championship. She dealt with injuries. They lost that national championship to South Carolina. She dealt with a lot of injury issues. She averaged only 14.6 points per game. Her freshman year, she was the AP player of the year, national player of the year as a freshman. 20 points, 5.8 assists, 4.9 rebounds on 52.4% shooting and 46.4 from three. That's hellified shooting from the perimeter. But I want you to remember those numbers. Remember those statistics when talking about a national player of the year as a freshman. Because that same freshman season, Caitlin Clark averaged 26.6 points, 7.1 assists, 5.9 rebounds, 47.2% from the floor, 40.6 from three, and 85.8% from the free throw line. Also, Paige was at 86.9%. So let's consider that for a second. Let's just look at that in a nutshell. Yes, Caitlin Clark committed more turnovers than Paige Bueckers. We all know this. I'm not going to be digging into the turnover numbers because turnover numbers, when you play like Caitlin Clark, they're going to happen. When you're trying to be the player that makes everything happen for your team, that is going to happen. It's part of the game. It's part and parcel. But when we sit here and we look at what really went on with their careers as a freshman, Caitlin Clark was already kicking Paige Bueckers' ass on a head-to-head basis. You think Paige Bueckers would average 27, 7, and 6 at Iowa? I don't. I do not for 1 second think that she would average 27, 7, and 6. Let's take a look at the minutes played. Okay, remember that also. Paige Bueckers was averaging 36.1 minutes per game as a freshman. Caitlin Clark, 34 minutes per game as a freshman. So Caitlin Clark did more with less time on the floor than Paige Bueckers was able to do. Did Caitlin Clark shoot more shots? Yes, she did. Did she also get her teammates more involved? Yes, she did. So she scored more, created more for her teammates, and got more rebounds on top of that. And so here we sitting right now, and she's got her beaten in every single number off the rip. Okay? Sorry, I'm going back and forth because it actually spreads up the whole thing a little bit better. Year two, Caitlin Clark goes for 27 points, 8 assists, and 7.8 rebounds. Like 27, 8, and 8. Think about that. She leads the country in points. By the way, she led the country in points as a freshman, sophomore, and senior. Leads the country in scoring and assists as a sophomore. And is still not named National Player of the Year. Like, how is that possible? Caitlin Clark should very well be a 3-time National Player of the year. Like the fact that we're sitting here and we're having a debate right now that she's not a three-time national player. I'm sorry, scratch that. A four-time national player of the year in college. Like this isn't even a debatable topic. To be that far ahead of everybody else numerically, statistically, and produce on the basketball court like this stuff is otherworldly stuff, people. Okay? Otherworldly. So, who won the National Player of the Year that year? I don't remember. Women's College B-ball AP National Player of the Year. Um, who was the player? Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston was National Player of the Year, averaging 17, 12 and a half, and 2.4 blocks on 54% shooting. Are you kidding me? Like, this is the type of nonsense and rigmarole we deal with right here. Because there's no way in the world that something like Aaliyah Boston is the National Player of the Year when Caitlin Clark's lead the country in points and assists. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. And it's averaging 27, 8, and 8. It's just so stupid. But she was a first team All American, and first team All American as a junior, first team All American as a senior. Moving in, so compare that to Paige in her year two: 14.6 points, 4 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and then her next year she didn't play. So while Paige wasn't playing, Caitlin Clark goes for 27.8 points, 8.6 assists, 7.1 rebounds, leads the country in. It leads the Big Ten in points, second, I believe, in second in points nationally, and leads the country in assists. Again, 34.4 minutes. So then and takes her team to the Final Four with a national championship game where they beat an undefeated South Carolina team there, beats that team. I mean, let's go back in the history of Paige Bueckers. Did Paige Bueckers ever beat a team as good as that 22-23 South Carolina team? I asked the question. I'll let you answer in the comments because that 22-23 South Carolina team was 38-0, untouchable, two monsters down low with Aaliyah Boston and Camila Cardoso. And still, that night, while getting crushed on the glass, Caitlin Clark ran for a triple freaking double in a national semifinal game. See, don't believe it. See for yourself. 15-31. I'm sorry. She went for my bad. She went for the triple double in the Elite Eight. My bad. When she went for 41, 12, and 10 against South Carolina, she went for 41, 8, and 6. My mistake. I correct myself. I knew she went for triple double one of those games. So she did that in the national semifinal against a 38-0 South Carolina team, and then went for 38-2 against LSU in the national championship game. Unfortunately, LSU that night, real talk. I mean, you got to give them credit. Give the credit where credit is due. They earned that shit. They had the day where they shot the lights out and everybody was hitting shots. Man, you got to give them that credit. Paige Bueckers comes back for her senior year, plays 39 games, plays 32 minutes, 21.9 points, 5.2 boards, 3.8 assists, shoots 53%, incredibly efficient, 41.6 from three. While Caitlin Clark plays 38 games, 39 games as well, goes to the national championship game again, leads the country in scoring and assists, 31.6 points, 8.9 assists, shoots 45.5%. By this point, Caitlin Clark is a worldwide attraction with the parking lot shooting, the enter the building shooting, and everyone's watching Caitlin Clark play. She's selling out every building across the planet. Everybody wants to see her. She puts 55,000 into a football stadium. I mean, she does it all. She does it all. And National Player of the Year, back-to-back years. I mean, Caitlin Clark should have been a four-time National Player of the Year. Like the fact that she wasn't even an AP first team as a freshman, averaging 26.6 and 7.1 assists and 6 boards is utterly disgusting. It's disgusting. There's no logical rhyme or reason to that having happened. Okay. So Paige, again, good year. They meet head to head up in the freaking national semifinals. And what happens? Caitlin Clark beats Paige Bueckers. Period. That's what happened. That's what happened. And Caitlin Clark did it with a much worse team than Paige Bueckers had. Paige Bueckers, again, has All Americans all over the floor with her. I don't care if there was some injuries on that team. I don't care if AZ Fudd was out. I don't care. Don't even know she was. I think she was out, but I don't even care. You got a team of 10 McDonald's All-Americans. So you missing one, you don't have 9 more? Caitlin Clark was still that one by herself, playing with a bunch of players who are very, very mediocre overall. And so then Caitlin Clark, instead of coming back for a 5th year, decides I'm turning pro. She could have gone back for a 5th year. And in my opinion, if she had come back from, it's my opinion, I can't be sure, but my opinion tells me that if she had come back for a 5th year, she would have won a national championship in that 5th year. She would have put up another 1,000 points, had another 32 points per game season. And adding Lucy Olson to her team would have been the best player she'd ever played with. Because Lucy Olson came over from Villanova in the offseason, and that would have been the best player Caitlin Clark had ever played with by far, especially from the guard at the guard position. I mean, it would have been it would have been so even easier for her to destroy people. But she chose to turn pro. And what happens? Paige Bueckers comes back for her super duper senior year, so her 5th year. I'm messing around. Her 5th year. I mean, I don't blame her for coming back. She missed a full season of college basketball, and she's make more money in college than she would have in WNBA. So I don't blame her. She averages 19.9, 4.6, and 4.4. 53.64% shooting. We had a solid year. First team All American. But these are just good numbers. These are just good stats. She also added Sarah Strong, who I thought was the best player on her team. In my opinion, I thought Sarah Strong was better than her as a freshman. And then AZ Fudd shows up, gets back healthy, and AZ Fudd in the national championship in the Final Four is named the most outstanding player of the Final Four. Do you think for 1 second if Caitlin Clark's team had won a national championship that she wasn't the MOP? Hell, she should have still been the MOP both years because she was the best player in the national in the Final Four both seasons. She was the best player in both Final Fours that she played in. She played in the national championship and the semifinals. She was the best player. She should have been given the MOP in both situations, except they lost. So you know how that goes sometimes, unfortunately. It doesn't mean she still wasn't the best player. Now, again, Paige Bueckers, she drew a lot of attention. And because of that, AZ Fudd was able to really, really capitalize and become MOP. I still thought Sarah Strong was their best player, despite all that. Now you get to the questions about the defense. People talk about these players on a defensive basis. I'm going to tell you right now, neither one of them is very good defensively. Heck, neither one is any good defensively. If you want to be completely blunt about it, Paige can't defend. Caitlin can't defend. Maybe Paige is a little bit better defensively than Caitlin, but let's look at this from a perspective once again. This is from college. Better scorer, better distributor, better passer, better shooter from distance. Again, I don't look at 3-point percentage shooting because guess what? Paige Bueckers takes open threes. Caitlin Clark's taking freaking covered threes. Caitlin Clark's taking threes from 30 feet away. Paige Bueckers is taking threes from the 3-point line. There's a difference. Caitlin Clark is being hounded all over the floor. Paige Bueckers has free range. She's moving around because she has so much talent around her. There's a huge difference. Again, no one's discounting how good she is. But if I'm Larry Bird and I got Magic and Michael on my team at the same damn time, well, guess what? I might have some open shots. But if I got Larry, Moe, and Curly on my team, I may not have those same open looks. Period. It is what it is. It seems like it's a very hard thing for people to accept when it comes down to this debate. Is that your talent around you has an impact on winning. If you don't have a lot of talent around you, you're less likely to win. It's just that simple. Look, there's a reason why the same teams win the national championship of women's basketball damn near all the time. Whether it's UConn, South Carolina, Baylor, Notre Dame, they have been loaded with talent. All Stanford. I remember there was a period in time where Stanford would always lose in the Final Four. And it never stopped anyone from ever saying that Stanford wasn't a great, great program. But they would find a way to lose almost all the time. They finally won, I think it was in 22, I think it was when Lexi Hull was a senior with Cam Brink. But I think it was 22. But other than that, like the same teams win for the most part. LSU, I know, has a championship there under Mulkey, but Mulkey won also at Baylor. Which is a winning program. Now UCLA finally wins a national championship this past year. I'm hoping they can continue to move on with that and develop that as part of their future and not just be a one and done type of situation and no longer be a power. But The same teams are there doing it year after year after year. Why? Because they're recruiting McDonald's All Americans left and right. They're recruiting four of the top 30 players in the country in every class, pretty much. Iowa never had that. Why? Because nobody wants to go to Iowa. Let's just be real. Nobody wants to go to Iowa. I don't care how good you are. I don't care who you are. Not even the best white girls in the country really want to go to Iowa. Because if you're from a big city, a big metro, if you're from an LA, a New York, a Miami, a Dallas, a New Orleans, Atlanta, you name it. You name a big Chicago. Do they really want to move to Iowa? The answer really is no. Even after Caitlin Clark showed the world how much the people of Iowa would support their women's basketball team, players still don't want to go to Iowa. Addie Deal gave it a shot for a year, and she took her happy ass back home to California and will be at UCLA next season. Facts. These are facts. So when I look at it from a scoring, creation, passing, distributing, rebounding, all those things, shooting, all those things favor Caitlin Clark. You want to know what favors Paige Bueckers? Efficiency. Efficiency because she played at UConn. You want to go a little bit deeper on it? Here, I'm sorry, wrong one. Go a little bit deeper on it. Sarah Strong, as a freshman, shot 58.6% from the field. As a sophomore, shot 58.2% from the field. From 2-point range, Sarah Strong has shot over 68% as a freshman and 66% as a sophomore. She also shoots 40% from three. This is a 6'2 power forward doing that type of work, averaging 17, 16, 17, and 9 boards, 16 and 9 as a freshman, 18 and 8 as a sophomore, along with 2.5 steals and 3.5 steals and 4 assists each year. That's an elite level player. There's no player Caitlin Clark's ever played with that's that good, not even in the WNBA. Sarah Strong would be Caitlin Clark's best teammate right now if she was playing for the Indiana Fever right now. That's how good Sarah Strong is. And that's what Paige Bueckers got to play with. Those are the toys that Paige Bueckers had on her basketball team while still playing 36 minutes as a freshman, even though Strong wasn't on the team then, but she still played 36 minutes as a freshman. Paige's minutes went down because she got hurt. But as a freshman, she played more minutes than Caitlin Clark ever played in any singular season. Facts. So from an efficiency standpoint, you say Paige Bueckers, fine. Mid-range game, Paige Bueckers, fine. Finishing at the rim, Caitlin Clark gets the rim way better than Paige Bueckers. Have you watched? Caitlin Clark can hit a corner and get around people really, really easily. She does it constantly. People don't believe that it's true, but it happens every single game. Happened in college, happens in the pros. So now that we've established and looked at the college component of it, now let's go look at the professional component of this all, okay? Let's go look at the pro component. And this will have nothing to do with teammates. This is strictly 1000% about what these individuals have done in the WNBA. So Caitlin Clark comes out, sets every record imaginable by a WNBA player as a rookie. Averages 19.2 points, leads the WNBA in assists, averages 5.7 boards. She shoots 42% from the field, 34.4 from three. She plays 40 games. She takes an Indiana Fever team that had not made the playoffs in 8 seasons to the playoffs and a 500 record, a team that had been the doormat of the WNBA for the 7 seasons before she showed up. They were 13 and 27 the year before she got there, and they were 20 and 20. And this is after starting 2 and 10. when Christy Sides finally took the shackles off and let Caitlin Clark play some basketball. That's what actually happened. Okay. So now going a little bit deeper into it, Caitlin Clark made everybody around her better, made Aaliyah Boston look like she was a great player when she's just a good one. She made Alexi Hull look like a WNBA possibility when she could shoot 22% from 3-point range before Caitlin Clark showed up. Why didn't Kelsey Mitchell make Lexi Hull look great? Because Caitlin Clark ain't Kelsey Mitchell. Because Kelsey Mitchell has been a perennial loser in the WNBA since she got to the WNBA. Never got past the Sweet 16, if I recall correctly, in college either. Shot chuckers and ball hogs don't typically have success in professional sports. They might score a lot. They might win. They might win games. In the case of Kelsey Mitchell, it didn't matter who was on her team. She couldn't help them win. They had pick after pick after pick in the top five, could not produce, could not create something, could for whatever reason. And Kelsey Mitchell numbers were pretty much the same every single year. There was zero improvement, zero, nothing changed. Nothing changed. Caitlin Clark shows up and they're in the playoffs. In the playoffs, right? With a team that has Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, perennial loser in Mitchell, plus Aaliyah Boston, who had just gotten there, who was part of a 13-27 win team, and then a bunch of bums, basically. A bunch of bums. Yeah, not very good players. Cast offs, people that look like they were, I don't know, not really on your side when they're playing, like a Nilissa Smith. Yeah, not the greatest group of players. Bench players who just couldn't play. Like you literally needed the three players of Caitlin, Kelsey, and Aaliyah to go off for them to win games. I mean, the second half of the first season, rookie season, she went absolutely. Her and Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin and Kelsey Mitchell, were going crazy, playing off each other exceptionally well. As Christy Sides finally let go, she lived and let go, and here we are now. And she wins Rookie of the Year, takes them to the playoffs. They lose in the first round to Connecticut, Stephanie White, no less. And and their season ends obviously, successful but disappointing because you were hoping that they'd get a home game on, in the playoffs. Didn't happen. But Caitlin Clark has one of the greatest, if not the greatest, rookie seasons in WNBA history, setting or breaking or whatevering ridiculous numbers and records. The 20 point, 10 assists, triple doubles, you name it. Like right now, Caitlin Clark has 12, 20, 10 games in 57 games. In 57 games. She's got two this year right now. And you know how many one Paige Bueckers had as a rookie? As a rookie, Paige Bueckers had two 10 assist games the entire season and no 2010 games the entire season. None. Let's take a look at Caitlin Clark's comparatively. Caitlin Clark as a rookie. Let's take a look here. 20 and 10 in her. No, well, no, that's not right. Let's see here. 18 and 12. Let's see here. Okay, I'm sorry. There we go. As you can see, the second half of the season when she really blew up. 29 and 13, 20 and 13, 24 and 19, 29 and 10, 31 and 12, 28 and 12, 24 and 10, 26 and 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 20 and 10 games as a rookie. Not to mention what? 1, 2, 3, 4 more double-digit assist games. That was rookie season. Rookie season. And Paige Bueckers didn't have one game that was 20 and 10. Caitlin Clark's already the leader in the clubhouse with 12, 20, and 10 games, and she's done it in 57 games, while Courtney Vandersloot took 460, 50 or 60 some odd games to have 10 of them. Like, that's what we're talking about. By the time Caitlin Clark is done, presuming she doesn't get hurt and doesn't have her career end by some ridiculous injury, Caitlin Clark's going to be so far ahead in that category that nobody will ever touch it. Ever. Ever. Ever, ever? I mean, ever, bro. ever, 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 ever. Damn right. So that's year one. Now let's look at Paige Bueckers' year one. She comes to a team that was 9-31, 9-31, tied for the worst team in the league. And you know what she did in her rookie season? She won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games that she played in. 9. So they won the exact same amount of games as she won. She was 9-27, and they ended up being 10 and 10 and what? 10-32. Yeah, 10-32. 10-32. I believe that was the number, right? Or was it 10-34? Let me just verify. 10-34. So this team was 9-27 when she played, and 1-7 when she didn't. So they were bad when she didn't play, but they were bad when she did play. So they were bad either which way, and they finished 10-34. So she was 9-27, which is barely better than the team that they had the year before, and they finished last in the standings. They were just as bad as the Chicago Sky, which got them the number one pick in the draft once again, which they turned into AZ FUD. Okay. So that's what happened in year one. Now we're in year two. Caitlin Clark gets hurt. So we're going to skip year two because you know what? She got hurt. But even in year two, we can go look at her numbers that she had an 18 and she had a 18-10 game there, a 27-11, a 20-10, a 19-10, and a 14-13 game. She was hurt all year. We all know it. And she had a 32-9-8 game as well. Now, but when you go look at number 26, here we are in her in her third season. They're both 4 games in, and once again, Caitlin Clark is averaging 24.3 points per game, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, and Paige Bueckers is averaging 20, 5.5, and 2.8. Sure, Paige is shooting 57.4%. Congratulations. She's shooting the ball pretty well, efficiently. Last year, though, let's remind ourselves. Last year, she started off pretty damn good shooting from the field. You know what she finished with last year? She finished the season shooting 47.7% from the field. A far cry from the 53.5% she was shooting at UConn. And her three-point percentage was 33.1, a far cry from the 41% she shot at UConn. So her numbers went down percentage-wise, just like Caitlin Clark's numbers went down percentage-wise. So once again, I will give Paige Bueckers the credit for the efficiency component. She is probably a slightly more efficient player. Not a much more efficient player, slightly more efficient player. But let's go back because here we are sitting on this season, and Caitlin Clark is shooting 42.5%, 32.4 from 3, and 24.3 points, 9 assists, leads the league, is 4th in the league in scoring. And I mean, their PERs are pretty much the same right now for this season, according to this particular stat. And yeah, you know, the win share, whatever you want to call it, you can look at it all you want. It doesn't really matter to me. That type of stuff is whatever. So yeah, those analytical numbers, go for it. Have it all you want. I know what the eyes tell you. And if you think that Paige Bueckers is better because she shoots a higher percentage from the field, then you think, but then you know what you would tell? I would tell you, then you must think Angel Reese sucks. And that's where you lose it because you don't use the same criteria that you use for other players. Because if that's the case, then she's a better player than A'ja Wilson because A'ja Wilson does not shoot 57% from the field ever in her life. Paige Bueckers would be the best player in the history of the WNBA. She's not going to finish this year shooting 57% or 63% from 3. We're 4 games in. Could Caitlin Clark average 24-9? Yes. Yes, she could. Could Paige average 20-6? Yes, she could. Could Paige average 25-9? No, she could never do it because she's not a real point guard. She's a combo hybrid shooting guard, point guard. She'd rather play the two. She's really a two. And again, her mid-range game is excellent. I've always said that. Paige Bueckers' mid-range game is excellent. Is the part of the game that I have said that Caitlin Clark has got to improve upon. That mid-range game. If Caitlin Clark can ever get that mid-range game down, she will be one unstoppable motherfucker. But here we are now with back-to-back double-doubles, and Paige still doesn't have a double-double with 10, 20, and 10. And Caitlin's got two of them in the first 4 games. And Paige Bueckers is playing on a team that last year won 10 games. So the ball is in Paige Bueckers' hand. She has lots of usage. Lots of usage. In fact, yesterday they completely padded up her numbers because she played well into the 3-minute mark of the fourth quarter in a game her team led by 20. Pretty much the duration of the fourth quarter. I would have pulled her out at the 5-minute mark, the same way I would have pulled Caitlin out of the 5-minute mark again in that game against Seattle. But again, we can go back and look at the defense. I think they're both equally pretty bad defensively. I think Caitlin off the ball is a very good defender. I think on the ball, she's terrible. I think Paige Bueckers is a pretty good off the ball defender, and I think on the ball, she's terrible. They're both very stiff in terms of defensively. That's my opinion on both of them. Notice, I'm not just putting on one. They're very, very similar defensively. Okay. So once again, here we are sitting looking at these numbers. And yes, this year, Paige Bueckers' team did beat Caitlin Clark's team in the first game of the season. Congratulations. That doesn't make somebody better than somebody because their team won a game in which realistically Caitlin had 27-5 and Paige had 24-3. And yes, she shot 80%. Caitlin was less efficient, of course, certainly from the floor. But let's be real. If Caitlin Clark for a career averages 20.7 assists and 5 rebounds for a career, she's in the Hall of Fame. Because 27-5 is the best player at her position in history. In history. In history. So when you think about all these particular things, and we say as Caitlin, as a Caitlin Clark fan, Caitlin Clark going 27-5 is below expectations. It's because the expectations that have been set for Caitlin Clark are way the freaking hell up here. The expectations for her to produce offensively and for her teammates are up here. So 20 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds, that's below expectation. So when I watch that game and I say, I don't think Caitlin Clark played that well, but yet had the same amount of points, more assists, and more rebounds than Paige Bueckers in said game, people will tell you Paige Bueckers played great. And she did because she was more efficient. She shot 8, she was 8 of 10. Even though she missed 3 free throws, which is crazy for Paige Bueckers to be a free throw shooter as good as she is and miss 3 free throws. But Paige Bueckers will probably max out at that 25-3 type of career number. That'll be her max. That's Caitlin's base. Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Caitlin Clark's rookie season is better than Paige Bueckers' rookie season. Her winning was better than Paige Bueckers. And Paige Bueckers did not go to a team filled with bums. They went to similar type of teams. And Caitlin took one to the playoffs, and Paige won 10 games. 9, really. This doesn't even move into the equation of marketing, filling arenas, exposure, merch sales. Like that doesn't even touch that thing because that's irrelevant. That's not what determines who's a better ball player. Because when I look at Michael Jordan and LeBron James, my opinions of Michael Jordan and LeBron James are not based on the Michael Jordan sneaker, the Air Jordan. Because if that was taken into account, it's not even a conversation. Heck, it's not a conversation even without it. But with it, we're not even having a discussion. Because Michael Jordan is the greatest professional athlete of all time. Yes, a better athlete than Muhammad Ali. People might not like that one. Muhammad Ali dealt with different situations and all that stuff with civil rights and so forth. But as an athlete, Michael Jordan left basketball and went to play baseball, which is a harder sport to most people. Baseball, a sport in which if you are failing 7 of 10 times, you're in the Hall of Fame. If you shoot 30% from the free throw line or 30% from the floor, you're cut. You're not in the league. And in baseball, you're in the Hall of Fame. And Jordan did that at a pretty decent level in the minor leagues. So, and most people, I would probably venture to guess 99.9% couldn't do what he did. And then went back and dominated basketball again after taking a year and a half off. So when I break it all down and I ignore the outside factors of marketing, money, merch, a CBA that was created by Caitlin Clark's presence alone, built games being moved to bigger buildings because Caitlin Clark showed up, and all of those other outlier factors which are irrelevant in this topic. So let me give this to you. Paige Bueckers is a better defensive player by that much. Caitlin Clark's a better perimeter shooter from deep by that much. Okay. Caitlin Clark's a better passer by that much. Caitlin Clark's a better distributor by that much. A better rebounder by that much. Better with assists by that much. And Paige Bueckers is a better mid-range shooter by that much. And a better, more efficient player by that much. Okay, so now you be the judge. Who is better to you? And Caitlin Clark has set pretty much every record there is known to man. And whenever she retires, whenever she's finally done and gone from the WNBA, will probably hold every major record the league has ever seen, probably in points and assists. Because it's just a matter of time before Caitlin Clark truly becomes Iowa Caitlin Clark again. We're starting to see it. It's right there. And when that's scoring and her efficiency it doesn't have to go up a lot. But when Caitlin Clark is shooting 46% from the floor and 36 or 37% from three, be very, very afraid. Because Paige Bueckers' efficiency can't go up any more than it already is. It's at the optimal level, and that's a credit to her. Her mentality will never be the killer that Caitlin Clark's is. So that doesn't even include the killer mentality of Caitlin Clark. And you can complain and say that Caitlin complains about everything, and I can say that Paige Bueckers flops all the time. They all complain. They all flop. And Paige gets the calls, and Caitlin typically doesn't. And now in a season in which we're going to see calls made, tell you what, that 9 for 9 that we saw from Caitlin Clark the other day, for which she's still shooting 100% from the free throw line at 23 of 23 this season. Well, Caitlin Clark averages 7 free throws a game this year. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Trouble, trouble, trouble. But, y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. I think it's pretty abundantly clear. Caitlin Clark's the best. She's better than Paige Bueckers. Now, whether you want or not you want to argue on Asia Wilson, that's another story for another day. I think Caitlin Clark's the best player in the world. I've said it. She does and creates more than any player on the planet. And the only knock on Caitlin Clark is that you don't think she's a good defensive player. And the reality is in the WNBA, most of these women can't defend a park fucking car. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hype the video. Let the world know about this thing. I greatly appreciate it. Until the next one, man. This is Indiana Fever Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.